नमस्कार दोस्तों, कैसे हैं आप सभी? हाउ यू ऑल? आई होप यू ऑल आर डूइंग वेल एट योर होम. Actually, in the previous videos, we are talking about the Indian economy on the eve of independence. That is chapter 1 of Indian economic development of 12th class CBSE. In the same thing, we are doing the video number 3, which is based on the industrial sector on the eve of independence as well as the foreign trade on the eve of independence. So, we are talking about the two major sectors at the time on the eve of independence. Let's begin. Actually, we are earlier in the previous videos, we are talking about the agriculture, how the agriculture sector performed during the period of the British colonial rule, and same as well, what is the basic conditions are there at the time of the Indian economy on the eve of independence. Same as well, we are talking about the industrial sector on the eve of independence, which is our major second sector. After the agriculture, the major sector which contributes in the economy of GDP of the economy is industrial sector. So, how this industrial sector performed at the time of the British colonial rule or on the eve of independence? First of all, the Britishers do not want to be the independent economy, Indian economy as to grow the independent economy. They want that Indian economy must be dependent on the Britishers. So they follow the systematic policy of deindustrialization. What is the systematic policy of deindustrialization? They want that the Indian consumers must be dependent on the British industrial goods or the British manufactured goods. So they follow up the systematic policy of the deindustrialization, in which they get the raw material at the very negligible cost and sold their finished goods at the higher prices. It means there are two types of exploitation. How? Because they get the raw material at very negligible cost, means the exploitation of the Indian farmers. And say these goods went to the Britain. Then after that, though they manufactured that goods, sold to the Indian market, because Indian territory is a vast territory. It is the 7th largest country in the world as per the norms of the area. So they sold their finished goods at the higher prices in the Indian territory, which is the exploitation of the Indian consumers. So there are the two types of the exploitation. First, they get the raw material at the negligible cost, and second, they sold their finished goods at the higher prices, so that they follow the industrialization. If the industries were opened in India, then it means there is the same raw material which was consumed by the Indian industries, so that they do not get the raw material for the British based industries. That is why they follow the industrialization policy, in which they do not provide any license or the permissions to open up the industries in India. The second one is that there are the few modern industries at the time of the British colonial period. At that time, there are only the few industries. First of all, I'd like to know there is a major difference between the industry and the firm. Actually, industry consists the number of firms in it, and the firm is the part of the industry. It means the number of the bunch of the firms is known as the industry. But at that time, there are some type of industries like the sugar, paper, cement, etc. and some industries which are of the jute and the cotton based industries. Why the jute and cotton based industries are there? Because we are talking in the previous point, we are talking that there is a negligible industries are there. No systematic deindustrialization. Jute and cotton industries are set up in India because the raw material will be sent in the packaging form, and these industries are taking as for the consumption of the packing material, like the bags or the bori, etc. And there is another part of industry, that is iron and steel industry, which we will be talking about in the next topic. That is the third point is lack of capital goods industries. Now, what is the meaning of the capital goods? Capital goods are those goods which manufacture the consumer goods, or which are helpful in the manufacturing of consumer goods. So, what is the consumer goods? Consumer goods are those goods which are helpful in making of that type of good which directly satisfy the human wants. Let me give an example. This shirt which I bought is the consumer goods because it directly satisfy my wants. And the sewing machine in which this shirt is stretched is known as the capital goods. Consumer goods those goods which satisfy the human wants directly, and capital goods are those goods which are helpful in manufacturing of consumer goods. So there are some lack of the capital goods industries. We do not have the much amount of the capital goods industries which like the machinery based industries, etc. There is only a Tisco industry which was incorporated on 1907. What is the meaning of Tisco? Tata Iron Steel Corporation. Tata Iron and Steel Corporation, which was incorporated in 1907 by the JRD Tata in Jamshedpur. There is only one industry which is a very vast of the capital goods industry at that time, and some type of stories had you listened about the JRD Tata and Birla. Only two big industrial houses at that time, that is Tata and Birla. So there is a capital goods industries as well. The fourth one is limited role of public sector. PSUs are not provide a substantial role at that time. There is only a railway, power generation or communication, etc. In our next video, we are talking about the infrastructure, railway, which was established on 1850, and the communication, the postal department was incorporated established in 1857. Is that clear? So now the topic is how that industrial sector contribute in the GDP. It contributes only the 17%. After the agriculture, the industrial sector is contributor of the major into the GDP, that is 17%, because in early at that time the Indian economy is mostly engaged in the agriculture and the related activities. So this is our industrial sector which are performing at that time. So you get to know that how the Britishers exploit the Indian industries also. Next, the foreign trade. Actually, in terms of the foreign trade, they do not lack any type of the conditions that to grow the Indian economy as the Indian independent economy. And India is a major exporter of the primary products and importer of the finished goods. What is primary product? Primary product means raw material. And what is the meaning of the importer of finished goods? Finished goods means are those goods which are satisfy the human wants directly. So we are major exporter of the raw material and importer of finished goods. Let's see the case. Exporter of raw material, raw silk. We are the major exporter of raw silk, cotton, jute, indigo, leather items, etc. Is that clear? These items went to the Britain. Britain industries manufactured those goods and seen bought back by the India in terms of imports, that is silk textile. The silk textile was to be used the raw silk, means cotton and woolen textile, cotton industries also there. Leather shoes by the leather. It means our raw material was to be was get back by the Indians in the manufactured form, but this raw material at negligible cost, and this finished goods we get at the higher prices. Is that clear? Second one is so that there is a exploitation of the Indian economy at that time by providing the raw material at negligible cost and by getting the finished goods at the higher prices. Same as well, monopoly over the India's foreign trade. India actually India is also there is a monopoly of the Britain over the India's foreign trade. Actually, about the 51% of the India's foreign trade was confined with the Britain only, and left part with the Iran, Iraq, Sri Lanka or the Arabian countries, etc. Because it means we are totally dependent on the Britishers. Actually, we are not dependent on the Britishers. Britishers want to get to the dependent on themselves. Is that clear? And after opening of the Suez Canal 1869, the foreign trade was also increases. Why? Let me give an example. Actually, let's suppose this is our India and this is your Britain. Is that clear? From India to Britain, the raw materials are exported through the major ports. This is your South Africa and this is your Suez Canal. Is that clear? This is your Suez Canal. So to get the raw material from the India, Britishers has to get एक पूरा चक्कर लगाना पड़ता था हमें, has to get the raw material through the passing this channel. But after the agreement of the Suez Canal, Indians were now export this way also. Is that clear? So पहले क्या होता था, they want to get the raw material only those items which are of very higher prices or the higher values. But after this opening of Suez Canal, the transportation cost cut down so that they will get the raw material of whatever they want. Is that clear? So by the opening of the Suez Canal in 1869, India became the major exporter of the raw material to the Britain, so that we get the exploited in much way. The next point is draining of India's wealth. कहीं कसर नहीं छोड़ी उन लोगों ने हमारे लिए. क्या किया? Draining of the India's wealth. How the Indians get the India's wealth drained out. Drain means absorb करना. ठीक है. India is a major exporter of the raw material, so we get the export surplus. But this surplus do not become any type of inflow of cash or gold reserves. Why? Because this surplus was to be used in the home charges. What is home charges? Home charges are those charges which are used in the expenses of war fought by the British government. This surplus amount was used in the expenses on the war which was fought by the British government. Means those expenses are also burdened by the Indian government, and same the expenses on the British officials. Let's suppose महारानी विक्टोरिया इंडिया आ रही है, उसका खर्चा भी हमें ही देना है. Is that clear? So that such export surplus which is get by the exporting of the raw material do not cause to any flow of the cash or gold reserves, because this is drained out in that ways. Is that clear? I hope आप लोगों को ये वीडियो बहुत पसंद आई होगी, समझ में आई होगी. अपने दोस्तों के साथ इसे शेयर कीजिए, लाइक कीजिए, कमेंट कीजिए और मेरा चैनल जरूर सब्सक्राइब कीजिए. आगे की जो वीडियोस हैं, जैसे वीडियो 4, वीडियो 5 है, वो आपको इसी चैप्टर में मिलते रहेगी. तब तक के लिए थैंक यू, धन्यवाद. घर रहें, खुशहाल रहें.